Hi, this is my new carport. As you can see, it's relatively small. It's just over 16 feet long and 9 feet between the supports here. It's supported by 4 pressure-treated 4x4s. Of course, it's all wood construction, and it has a self-supporting roof, which leaves an area here which is completely open for storage. So I have complete plans for the carport. They're downloadable in the description. But first let's look at the design. Here's the design. This is composed in Blender, which is a free open source program. One feature of the design is that instead of putting support posts in the corners, they've been moved in about 32 inches from the ends. So with a total carport length of 16 feet, that leaves a center span of just over 10 feet. And that's short enough that you don't need a support post in the center, which is great because it means digging just 4 footings instead of 6. Also, it means the center area is completely clear for opening the car doors. That way the open doors will never hit the post, even though the carport is only 9 feet wide from post to post. The posts are 77.5 inches tall minimum. The site isn't quite level, so some of the posts will be a bit taller. At the top of the post on each side, there's a sandwich of 2 16-foot 2x6s. In each corner, there's a 4x4 diagonal brace from each post, projecting outward to almost the end of the beam. These give the structure front-to-back rigidity without obstructing the center span. They also help support the 32-inch extensions at each end of the side beams. The roof is just standard rafter framing on 16-inch centers. Since the rafter span is less than 6 feet, the rafters can be cheap 2x4 studs. The 2x6 ridge is supported by the rafters, leaving an unobstructed area under the rafters for storage. At every second rafter, there's a 2x4 joist to keep the side beams from spreading apart. The third rafter from each end coincide with the support posts, so that's where we'll put diagonal 4x4 braces between the post and the joist for side-to-side rigidity. We've used a 2x6 joist there to make it more rigid and notched it on each side so that the top of it lines up with the other 2x4 joists. At each end, we start with the rafters on the outside and the joist on the inside and continue that pattern from each end to the middle. The roofing isn't shown here. It's just a standard shingle roof over oriented strand board, but you could equally well use a metal roof. Now let's briefly follow the construction. So here we are with a little more than half of the framing done, some of the rafters. So if we look down here, we've got concrete footings. That goes down 18 inches. And then these base plates, these are cast in place. And then 2 half-inch bolts going all the way through. Of course, these are 4x4, and then up the top here we have the double 2x6 beam. That's held onto the 4x4 post with 2 1/4-inch lag bolts. And then we've got diagonal brace here, 4x4. That's held in with 6-inch timber screws. And again, up at the top, 2 1/4-inch lag bolts. And then we've got blocks just to keep it rigid here, 4x4 blocks, full length of the 2x6. That's held in with 3.5-inch deck screws. So to raise the roof, what we did is assemble part of it on the ground. So 2 trusses, that's the 3rd rafter in from each end, along with the joists and the ridge. Build that on the ground and then flip that whole structure up onto the beams. Then fill in the rest of the rafters and finally the remaining joists. Using brackets for the rafters, there's the lower bracket held in by hex screws. And then at the top, there's the ridge brackets. So that's about it for the layout. And just have to get those final rafters up. Okay, so nearing completion here. We've got half the roof on now. Also put on these diagonal braces here. This is again 4x4 with the held in here by timber screws. And then up here we've got a couple of bolts. Probably a little bit bigger bolts than we actually need. And we had to make a rabbet in the 4x4 here to mate it to the 2x6. To make the rabbet, we cut a bunch of parallel strips in the 4x4, 1.5 inches deep, and then knock those off with a hammer, and then smooth it out to an even surface with a chisel and a rasp plane. And then the roof, we used OSB oriented strand board, and we got the 4x9 foot oversized pieces. That gives us a little bit of an overhang, 1-inch overhang on the end here. And so with a 6-foot rafter, we need just 4 foot and then 2 foot. So just cut one board in half, use the other half on the other side. So a total of 6 panels of OSB. To mount the OSB, put a little jig on some of the rafters here, just a piece of 3/4 inch and then 3/4 inch, just to hold the OSB in place until we nail it down. And for the underlayment, just using regular felt paper because no gutter, so we're not going to have any problem with ice dams. So just went with the plain tar paper. So needed 3 sheets of that to cover the roof. Okay, getting close to completion here. We've got half the roof done. Could have done a metal roof, but decided to go with the shingles to match the house. And these are just standard GAF Timberline dimensional shingles. And we use starter shingles and drip edge all around the edge, because the OSB is susceptible to water damage, so want to be sure to keep that dry. And we're about to start the other side here. And since this is right on a bank, had to make a platform for the scaffold with some pallets. And then we got the scaffold clamped to the post here, so nice and solid, can't move, and clamped to the ladder there so it can't tilt back and forth. And ready to finish up the second half of the roof. Well, it's a few weeks later and we're finished. We've still got the scaffold up because I think we're going to put some solar panels on the roof. But I'm pretty happy with the look of it. Certainly a lot nicer than a metal carport. And with the car in there, it really brings out how small it is really, but plenty big for its purpose. We've got 16 inches of overhang on the front and the back. And the final length with the shingle and the OSB overhangs is just under 16.5 feet. We've got plenty of clearance on the sides. And of course, plenty of clearance to open the doors. The height of this beam at the lowest point is just under 6 feet, and I actually like that because it's easy for me to reach up and stick lumber up here under the rafters, poles, and so forth. Here's a breakdown of the cost. It came in at just under $1,500. A little over half of that was for the framing, a little less than half for the roof. Did look into a metal roof. Turns out the cost is just about the same. I think we've included everything here, but there's a more detailed breakdown with a complete materials list in the description. So I'll end with some dimensional drawings here, but there are more detailed plans for download in the description, including a 3D model in Blender. Thanks for watching.